Hey everyone, it looks like I am live now. Let me go ahead and get set up over here. Hi guys, I'm going to get set up on Instagram really quickly, and it says, all right, let me pin that comment real quick. Okay, wow, I have not done a live in quite some time, but hello. Hi, I'm so excited to talk with you guys today. I'm Melissa Ferguson. I'm an author. Obviously, you came on here, so you know some things. But I'm an author and I write sweet rom-coms. But this book is a little special. This one is Without a Clue, and it's my first genre mashup of a rom-com mystery. And I'm really excited about it. It's cozy mystery. So I also thought while we're chatting together today, oh my goodness, hello everybody. While we're getting started today, I was going to also go ahead and show you how I make my crock pot Christmas candy. Super easy and super fun, and really literally takes 1 hour start to finish. And I was thinking about it today as I was making it, and I thought, what a good Christmas present it would be, like books and Christmas crock pot candy. It's like such a win together. I've been thinking about like people in my life, neighbors, or there's a couple of sweet ladies who come clean my house sometimes, and I was like, what could I get them? Which I ended up making them beeswax candles and some simmer pots this time, but I thought this would be a really great, especially last minute gift. So to putting together books and candy. But anyways, hello all of you guys. And hello to Robin from LA. Wow, that's super fun. Okay, well, I'm going to answer your questions. I am happy to talk about anything. I am happy to talk about my next book coming out, which I was so excited. I actually just got a message from a complete stranger on Instagram saying that it was in the People magazine newsletter today. And so, yes, this is autographed. And and as far as I know, this is the only place you can get pre-ordered, like autographed copies of my book. So anyways, this is, so let's go ahead and get started. I'll answer a couple questions. I'm happy to talk about farm life. I'm happy to talk about my books, inspiration behind my books, what this book is about, and motherhood, juggling. People tend to ask me during podcasts and things, how do you juggle motherhood and writing or pursuing something else as well as motherhood. And so anyways, there's just a lot going on. So let me go ahead and answer a couple questions. The theme, what is the theme of this book? I'll go ahead and tell you before we put a couple things in our crock pot. The theme of Without a Clue is basically I was in a murder mystery kick, like a cozy Agatha Christie reading kick. And for anyone who's read my books, have any of you guys read my books before? If you have, you should put in a comment and let me know which books you've read before. Because I think I have several. I have like all of these I pulled out. And a couple of them are becoming movies this coming year, which I'm really excited about. And I don't know if I'll announce it soon. I think the announcement is coming in January of which ones. And I also have a children's book, Our Friendly Farmhouse. So far, I had only written sweet rom-coms. And then I had been on a kick of reading this Agatha Christie. And I thought, it would be really fun to have like a funny, easy, light-going mystery, something to solve, something with a little like, what's going to happen? But something that really made you laugh and wasn't like gruesome or dark. And so I started looking for that, and I had a hard time finding it. Unfortunately, I was looking for like something that would just not be gruesome, not give me like nightmares or anything like that. And I'm sure they exist, but it was hard for me to find. And so, you know, I guess I'm a writer. So what do? I was like, I'll just write it myself, I guess. So that's exactly what, oh, thank you, Tara, for ordering without a clue. That means a lot to me. And thank you, Ashley. That means a lot to me, especially because I am like extremely overwhelmed. And the fact that like Martha Stewart does these talks and Dolly Parton and all these fancy folks. And I'm like, who am I? I'm just a rom-com writer who lives in a farmhouse and has farm animals. But yeah, so I super appreciate it. And I especially, that means a lot to me because it means a lot, especially to my publisher. So, and I always like signed books. But anyways, I will answer. So basically that's how I ended up writing this book. And yes, Chandra, this is my kitchen. Thank you. I will say this, we got into making, we've got 3 windows here, and I ended up getting a hops for the first time, like ordering a hops. This is like a live giant vine that's like 30 feet long. And they ship it like overnight to you once a year. It's really wild. It's kind of a British thing. So it was hard to find it in America, but I found one place and they ship it like overnight to you. It has to be really fast. I think it was like in the last week of August, and I pulled it out and then put it up, and you can keep it up for a whole year. So I really do love that. And then my children helped me. We ended up making dried oranges, and basically all you do is you get, which was super easy. I don't know if you guys have ever made dried oranges, but it's beautiful in the window with the sunlight coming through. And it's such a fun, like nature-based thing to do with the kids. But basically I just put the oven on for 200 degrees and just lined a bunch of sliced oranges out and like let it bake for like 3 hours. And then we got some twine and we strung it. And my son got into making snowflakes, so we strung that. So yes, this is my kitchen, and this is where I feel like if I'm not writing, I feel like I'm living in this kitchen. So anyways, what other questions do we have here? So as far as the candy, oh, I should probably show you. So the Christmas candy is super simple. I'll show you right here. So, and if I, 7-month pregnant girly, can do this, you can too in just an hour. Like, even though I have little time and we're rushing around, it did not take much time. But it's literally this. I actually made a video about this, making crockpot Christmas candy, and it went like, there were like 1 million views on it or something crazy. And so anyways, I wanted to share it with you. But basically, all you're going to do is take 2 cups of cashews right here, and you're going to just drop it in your crock pot. And then you're going to get a cup of chocolate chips, and you're going to drop it in. And I'll show you a couple more. It's super simple. What I'm going to end up doing is I'll put the recipe. I'll make a post after this, and I'll put the whole recipe quickly and easily on my Instagram that you can see alongside my books. So as a reminder, though, I will say you can get this autographed. There are a couple different ways because people are watching in different ways. Let me see. It says if you're watching on Talk Shop Live, you click the shop button. If you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, you comment the word shop and you'll get an automatic DM. And if you're watching on YouTube, click the link in the description. So very simple ways. I don't know where everybody is or where they're on here from, but that's how you can get your book if you want to get a book. So, and Elizabeth, no, this is not my first book. This is, let's see, my first book came out in 2019. So I think this might be like my 9th book. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. maybe my 9th or 10th book at this point. So I have next year, I have 2 coming out actually in 1 year. So, but this will be my first rom-com mystery romance mashup. Oh, Plot of Payback. I do love that one. Oh my goodness. If your books were going to be a movie, who would you cast for the main characters? You know, that's funny because every time I do a book, I end up making like a whole outline sheet, and I have pictures of people who typically are celebrities who are just easy focal points of like, yeah, that's what this guy looks like. This is what the girl looks like, especially if it's from like a movie. This is the personality, like in The Perfect Rom-Com, I believe he was like a young Hugh Grant in 2 Weeks Notice. And so like, that's who I knew instantly. That's what I'm working with. And she really hit like a Sandra Bullock personality. This is a big kind of twist on 2 Weeks Notice, but kind of like literary bookish style between an agent and a writer. So, and this one, Without a Clue, I will say, as far as what is Without a Clue about specifically, it is about, I really like my bookish books, it turns out. I think this is my 3rd bookish book. So we have Meet Me in the Margins that I'm really grateful it's done really well. It's been translated into 5 languages. It's sold like 150,000 copies at this point. And then there's The Perfect Rom-Com that's also bookish. This is about a writer and an agent. And then like a ghostwriter and her agent. But this one I really liked because it's like a twist on Clue. So, but like really like a quirky, stereotypical, imagine you have 7 authors who are all bestsellers, like, you know, kind of the Stephen Kings or the whatever of their genres. And they all work together and go on this book cruise to basically promote each other's books in each other's lanes. And while they're doing that, the writing assistant for the main mystery guy, this huge, hardcore, think Knives Out kind of personality, he ends up dead. And it's up to her as they're in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean to solve this whodunit. And even though she's only an amateur, she's the assistant to this renowned mystery writer who knows everything, but she's picked up so much along the way. So anyways, it's a twist on Clue. And someone else called it, which I haven't seen it, Only Murders in the Building. I think that's what it's called. So like a mix on that. So like a rom-com mystery mix. So anyways, that's that. And I'm gonna show you the rest of this and then we can keep talking. Why don't you guys think of some more questions? And if you want to follow my channel on Talk Shop Live, which I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere around there. Feel free to do that while I go ahead and show you how the rest of this goes. So basically, you just do a cup of pecans, a cup of chocolate chips, 2 cups of cashews, and then you're just dumping chocolate in and some peanut butter. It's super simple. So I'm really going to take a couple bars of this. I mean, this is incredible that I can just really chat with you, which takes a lot of mental energy, especially late at night for me. But I can chat with you guys while doing this. So that is kind of how easy it is. But what about you guys? Are you guys reading any good books right now? Do you have a favorite genre? I'll look at the comments in a second and see. But yeah, you can just drop the chocolate in. That was super simple. Cameron says, how did you juggle the mystery, romance, and comedy elements while writing? You know, Cameron, that's a good question. It was hard. I think I learned while writing this book that like, it's very, there's a reason I think you don't see it done as often because it's hard to balance like the main character going, oh no, someone I love is dead. Let's fall in love with the guy next door while being a completely sane person who's grieving. So like trying to balance like at the simultaneous, like how do you not feel weird about that? Was interesting. So, and of course, every chapter I'm trying to put in some romance. I'm trying to add some mystery. I'm trying to add comedy, and it's like I'm trying to hit those points in every chapter. So when I'm writing, that's what I like to do. So let's go ahead and add, what made you want to add a murder mystery element to this one? Well, Casey, yeah, so I honestly did not know if it would work out. I kind of had to almost create a PowerPoint presentation for my publisher, begging them to let me do this because I write like clean rom-com, and I love writing clean rom-com, but I also really wanted something that would be like a really fun plot driver in this one. And I think adding a little mystery is really exciting. And personally, as far as what I love to read, I would love, I love books that have that kind of mystery, kind of Narnia-ish aspect, the mystery, the speculative, like suddenly she's going to fly. But in writing my books, like, they're falling in love. They're, it's Hallmark Great American Family style. Like they're going to a Christmas tree farm, they're not like then flying away. So I really liked the excitement behind the mystery aspect of this one. It was really fun to write, and it really kind of like drove the plot forward while getting to do the fun and the funny. You said that your favorite hobby is taking friends and acquaintances and turning them into characters. Should your friends be worried about appearing in this book? Yeah, especially where one dies. Yes, they should. I have had several friends end up in my books before. Just in their inspiration, if they told a funny story, it could get twisted and of course be inspired. I'm not going to like copy them entirely, but it turns into its own fun little thing. So hi, Melissa, Evelyn. Hi, Evelyn. What's next for you after Without a Clue? Well, gosh, this year has been nuts. First, I'm having a baby. But as far as in the bookish world, after Without a Clue, I am, let's see, I've written rom-com. I did a children's book. I wrote a nonfiction for somebody once. And this is the first year where I have 2 movies coming out, which I went from 0 movies. Like, I'm not going to pretend I've ever had movies. But I have 2 movies coming out, and that I think we get to, I'm hoping, I think my kids and I get to be in it, and maybe my husband too. And I'm really excited that we might get to be extras, like walking in the back scene. So I think for this year, I have the Christmas Yes List, which is a Christmas rom-com that should be coming out in October, alongside the release date when it becomes a film, like the same day. I get to announce with who, I believe in January. So that'll be happening. And then Without a Clue, which I'm super pumped about, is releasing in February. So, and then after, so it'll be rom-com mystery, then a Christmas rom-com. And then the following year, I believe I'll have another rom-com mystery. My publisher enjoyed that. And so I think I'm going to be doing another one again. So did you know from the start who the killer was, or did that change as you wrote? All right, Kalia, I hope that I'm saying that right. Kalia, did you know from the start who the killer was, or did that change as you wrote? You know what? I'm trying to think back. Let's see. I'm going to put some dark chocolate in too. And again, I can share this recipe on Instagram after we get off of this Talk Shop Live, where I'll put links to this link where you can buy the book if you want autographed. And I'll also have my recipe. But did I know the killer? Also, you can buy it. Hold on. If you're watching on Talk Shop Live, you can click the shop button to buy. Or on Instagram or Facebook, you can just comment the word shop and you'll get a DM. That is where you can buy an autographed copy of this book. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can click the link in the description. Clea, to answer, did I know from the start who the killer was? Yes, I think I did. And now certain things do change all the time when I write my books. It's halfway and as much of an adventure for me as it is for the readers, I believe. I mean, I really have a blast writing my own books, and like my husband or a mother-in-law or whoever can hear me sometimes cackling upstairs as I write, because I'm surprised by what a character would say in that moment. But in this moment, so what happens with this book? You know, this was my first murder mystery. It was not, I was a bit nervous because I thought, man, you really got to get it right. Like, you know, readers will be upset if your killer is so out of nowhere that they've never like heard of him, right? They'd be like, that's not fair. But it also shouldn't be so easy that it's like blatant from the first and boring. So there was a bit of a challenge to writing a murder mystery compared to my typical rom-coms, but it was a fun challenge. And I don't want to give away, you know, anything else as far as that, but I really enjoyed a bookish rom-com mystery of Without a Clue. So Mia says, how did you ensure the romance didn't get lost in the murder investigation or vice versa? Like, that's a great question. And that was the challenge. You know, every book, this is my last thing, I'm adding peanut butter. So super simple when making a cozy crock pot Christmas candy that will end up like this. It's such a nice treat. And you can get it in an hour, have it with your book, preferably my book, preferably my signed book. And or give it as gifts, Christmas gifts. Okay, so the question from me is, how did you ensure the romance didn't get lost in the murder investigation or vice versa? I think that was, I'm thankful to my editor, I will say, because it was a bit of a guessing game. I tried my best to really say, okay, I need romance in this scene, I need comedy in this scene, and I need mystery, you know, some adventure coming on in this scene. And I really kind of like checked off those for every chapter as much as I could, because I didn't want anything to get lost. I wanted it to be funny. I wanted it to be light. I wanted it to be mysterious though and move the plot forward. And I didn't want it to get too deep in the trenches. So I literally just made a kind of a check mark. I've seen some people say things like Harry Potter, like she has this crazy spreadsheet. You can see how different authors do it. But for me, I know where the end is-ish, and I know where I'm starting. Like, wouldn't it be funny if it's kind of my starting idea of how I get behind a novel idea. And then I don't really know what's going to happen in the middle, except that I need romance and comedy. And in the case of Without a Clue, mystery as well. So that's what I did. And thankfully, I was really kind of like fingers crossed waiting on my editor, hoping that I didn't fail. And sure enough, she was like, no, this is great. This hits the spot. So far, if you're a reviewer and you go on NetGalley, I'm really grateful. The reviews have been coming in, and they're typically by people who are like bookstore owners, librarians, Bookstagram influencers. And it means a lot to see that their reviews have been really positive. Parker, do you think, yeah, so Parker asked, do you think you'll write more murder mysteries? Yes, and more so than yes, I actually finished this book and it was a surprise for me. I will say it was a little bit more challenging for me to write because, like I said, you have to get the mystery right. And so I was actually hesitant. I was like, maybe my editor is going to say that was a good try. Let's go back. But instead, they really loved it. They loved the book and they wanted more of it. So I'm under contract for, I think, 2 more rom-com mysteries. So I had this Christmas one and I have 2 more rom-com mysteries after Without a Clue that I am going to be doing in 2027 and I believe 2028. And then we might have more Christmas. So it's just kind of a, here we go, continuous bit. So I did have a little, I don't know, tell me in your comments. I have an excerpt I can read you. It's hit or miss. When I've gone on book tour before, I've always thought, do people want to hear an excerpt or would they just prefer to buy the book and hear it themselves? I'm not sure. So put in comments while I go ahead and turn this on and tell me if you want to hear an excerpt of Without a Clue or if you have any other questions while I get this turned on. And then I'll review. But basically, I put some peanut butter in, cashews, pecans, chocolate chips, and 4 big chocolate bars. And I just turn it on high for 1 hour. And that's it. And when it's done, I put it in these little cupcakes, put that in the freezer, and let them freeze. And they're just delicious. They're nutty and peanut buttery. It's kind of like a really good, what is that called when they're chocolate bullseye? Is that what they're called? It's kind of like that. So anyway, super easy. Kids love them. Adults love them. I love them. It looks harder than it is. Super easy and very cozy. And it makes your house smell good. So, okay. All right. We got a few yeses to the excerpt. Let's see how much time we have left. All right. I've got a couple minutes. Oh, I always get nervous at excerpts. But I will do my best because you guys said yes. And also, here's the thing. It's cooler than I sound. Also, speaking of kids, are you due to have a Christmas baby? Linda asks. I am not due to have a Christmas baby. I'm due to have a March baby. And we're very excited. And, but yes, I'm coming up soon. See? Woo! So, okay. All right. Hi. You guys are so nice. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm going to read a little bit. So I always get nervous. All right, it says, did you know that jailbreaking your pent-up city toes from their Chelsea boots and surrendering your feet to the white-hot sand of Miami in February is good for you? That standing right where the crest of bubbly waves gently hugs your ankles before receding back into the blue-green ocean does wonders for your mental health? But of course you do. Just as you know, like everyone else on God's green earth, that the torturous act of waking up in an obscure conference center in San Diego at 3 a.m., missing your flight, rerouting your flighting experience an extra 10 hours through 2 more extremely stressful layovers, and becoming the ball in the great pinball machine of the United States is all worth it just to get to this moment? But of course you do. The beach is a miracle worker. Any sane human knows that. There are no words in the human language to properly describe the moment when you gulp your first lungful of sea salt air after months of particular grief and do precisely nothing. Nothing but stare out at the endless sea, listen as seagulls greet you gaily overhead, and feel the waves crash heedlessly all around. No phones, no agendas, no mind-spinning movement, nothing but letting the senses take over. And then what's going to happen as she's reminiscing. And then, in fact, that was precisely what I was feeling. And then he showed up with the thing. And I'm not entirely sure how it's come to this point, how precisely point A led to point Z. But now here I stand, sensible 27-year-old Penelope May DuPont, with no criminal record or even so much as a speeding ticket, holding the stranger's portable boombox high over my head in knee-deep water and waves tossing all around, all while threatening to hurl his precious music box into the sea. I've gone, as it turns out, completely mad. And so this book opens with a scene where she is just losing her mind because she's hit a hard personal moment. She's coming from a particularly bad breakup, and she's very sensitive. She's really hurt, and she's had a really rough time getting there. And finally, when she has a moment of peace, what happens is some crazy guy who ends up saying some rude things to her also is playing his music so extremely loud right in front of her while she's trying to enjoy this moment that she's about to lose her mind. So she ends up hijacking the boombox, holding it over her head. And then, of course, these authors who are like family to her, these 7 elderly kind of crew, well, not all elderly, but some of them of the book group, the Magnificent Seven, come in and kind of save the day, and they take poor Penelope away. And she has her little crisis moment. And actually, I wrote this first scene. I will say this, and then we're almost going to have to go. But I wrote this first scene. It was inspired by my own trip to a beach. I guess it was last year or 2 years ago when right before I started writing. And it was beautiful and peaceful and like a sunrise. And it was wonderful. And then, of course, what has happened is somebody was playing their boombox, extreme cacophony of noise, so loudly that I thought, oh, I just want to throw this into the sea. And then I thought, wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't that be funny if a girl is losing it? And that's the start of this book. And so, sure enough, it was inspired by my own it's not just my friends who end up in the books, it's myself as well. So anyways, as far as, do you have to put peanut butter in this candy? That's a good question. I would imagine you can put other things in it. I just don't know what the subs, you can obviously do like an almond butter. You can do a sunflower butter. I don't know what else would be a good substitute, but I would just Google that, and I'm sure you can. And I will say, as far as crock-pot candy goes, it's super simple. I'll put my recipe in my post that I'll end up posting at Our Friendly Farmhouse on Instagram, and it'll go to Facebook as well. And that's where you can also end up shopping if you want to. Without a Clue, it's signed. I believe here at Talk Shop Live, this is the only place that it's signed, autographed, pre-orders directly on it. And if you actually join my newsletter as well at melissaferguson.com, this is the first book of mine that also has pre-order gifts in the form of a really beautiful art print. I'm doing 100% of my author royalty proceeds from trade paperback towards for each order to One Tree Planted. There's just various gifts that you'll get with it. So anyways, as another reminder, head on to go ahead and grab this book if you are able and want to. It makes great Christmas gifts, et cetera, et cetera. If you're watching on Talk Shop Live, click the shop button to shop. So that's super simple. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, comment the word shop for links to order. It'll automatically send it to you. And if you're watching on YouTube, click the link in the description. So yes, and the art print on my newsletter is very pretty. I agree. I love it so much that I framed it actually and put it in my living room. And I love the artist behind it. She is very kind. So these books, by the way, will ship, Talk Shop Live says, on February 17th, 2026. So this is my release date. That's when it'll come out and it'll be signed. So does anybody else have any other questions about my books, about life, about writing, motherhood, animals, etc.? Can't wait. Thank you. Thanks. I'm very excited about this book too. I hope you guys enjoy it. Yes, Vicki, thank you for the great chat as well. Vicki, I believe I've seen you. I don't know if it's on Instagram, but I recognize your handle or Facebook. Oh, I think it's Facebook. Well, let's see. I had February and March girls. They're 2 weeks apart. Blessings for a great Christmas. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jeannie. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And thank you for joining with me. I'll talk to you guys later.